We would have to have their head cut off.
I'm sure you would come up with something much more creative.
Sometimes we think you know us better than we know ourselves.
Hi, Karim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I really enjoyed Firebrand, especially as a fan of the musical Six. Catherine Parr always being one of the wives that interested me the most. And there's so much of her life that has been unexplored. How did you whittle down which aspect of her story, which aspect of the novel you were really going to hone in on?
Yeah, listen, I think there was so many, and I think in one hand it was really exciting to enter this terrain, which I think was very uncharted. I think the novel was amazing. I had also done a lot of lectures with a woman who was a historian of Catherine in particular, and in the condition of women in the time. And so there was a lot of choices that needed to be made, and I think it was sort of thinking what was more interesting and what was relevant to today, you know? So I think the first one was the question of soft power. I thought there was something there of having been trapped in a marriage that she didn't choose to be in, and yet not sort of forgetting her beliefs. And I think ultimately it was a woman looking for emancipation in all senses. So I think this was an important issue that I was looking into the character. And then I think the question of legacy from a female perspective. I think that it was very interesting because the legacy of Henry is about violence, it's about war, it's about the empire. And I think the legacy of Catherine is education. It's generosity. It's the way that she raised these kids that were not her biological kids, but yet she raised them as if they were her own kids. And the fact that she was the woman who educated Elizabeth, you know, and I think that for me was a really important aspect. And beyond it all, I think she was an amazing stateswoman, and it was very tricky to do a movie about a queen, and I felt the queen is such a privileged space, you know, the space of a queen, but yet there was a lot of vulnerability there, and there was a lot of things that she needed to constantly fight for to remain alive. So those are the things that I think excited me most, you know, and thinking of Henry and her, I felt there was something very about now. You know, I think there are so many men running countries and institutions that are just like him. And we know so little about the women that are like, you know, by their sides or working with them or against them. So that's what really made me go through it and think that this is a story that takes place in the 1500s, but it's also a story about now.
Absolutely. Alicia really disappears into the role at times. I forgot that I was watching her. What aspects of Catherine did you really want her to bring out most, or what did you work with her most on?
I think there was a question of strategy, of how she had very strong convictions, particularly about religion, which were very, very dangerous, you know, in relationship to where she was. So it was how to have a character which is unpredictable, who was, you know, sort of understanding at every second which direction she could go without forgetting her goals and without forgetting her convictions. And I think one of the most incredible things about an actress like Alicia is that she has a lot of mystery in the way that she plays Catherine. And I think mystery and an eloquence in her silence, you know, in the way that she didn't speak sometimes and that she was just present. I think this is something that Alicia does beautifully, and with the strength that I think it's uncanny, and it's very, very powerful.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see what historical figure you may tackle next.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
The 5 wives who came before her all met untimely ends. But Catherine's fate was to change the kingdom forever.